kids are sick again, the rego's due, you can't get on top of the washing, you haven't slept in months because of the children keeping you up, and then you've just kicked your toe. And it feels like everything is falling apart. I honestly know this feeling all too well. I have written all my notes for this podcast weeks ago, but I had 2 ovarian cysts rupture and then I almost hemorrhaged after it, and all that stress on my body caused a lupus flare-up for me, so I've been in pain and I haven't wanted to do anything. I'm still feeling like crap today, but I have been putting all of these tools in place that I've got that I want to talk about, and it's helping me overcome the mental toll of getting through everything when it feels like everything is falling apart. So why wouldn't today just be the best day to talk about all of this stuff together? Welcome back to Before We Go Inside. If you are new here, my name is Samantha L and I am your host for Before We Go Inside podcast. It's just your little pocket of time, pocket of stillness before you step inside, back into the to-do lists, back into the snack demands, just a moment for yourself so that you can start coming home to yourself and feeling a little bit more resilient and empowered to tackle whatever this week is going to throw at you. Today's episode may sit a little heavy, but I'm really hoping that it lands softly too. Before we dive in, I just really want to say this. The fact that you clicked on this episode tells me that you are so ready for change. You've had that quiet, I'm done moment, and that whisper of, I can't keep living like this. And even though that moment feels like rock bottom, it's really not. It's your turning point because that's where the rebuild begins. I'm going to break this episode into a few different parts. We're going to talk about understanding your brain and why you feel overwhelmed. I'm going to quickly talk about my story so you know you're not alone, just briefly, what I've been through and when everything that could have gone wrong did. In that, I'll share the tools that I discovered that helped me get out of this mindset of everything's going wrong, the universe is against me. I'm going to talk about the battery check, so how you and your partner can effectively communicate and get through these seasons of overwhelm together. We're going to talk about your home and creating systems that give you more structure rather than more to do. And then lastly, we're going to talk about a heap of tools that are free that have helped me heal, and I want to share all that knowledge onto you so it can help you really turn within and get past these moments of everything's going wrong, the universe is against me, and how to start stepping over those hurdles and into a newfound level of happiness and calm and ease and flow. So whatever comes your way, you know you can handle it. So let's chat about your brain. I find this topic very, very, very interesting. I have started some study into this topic as well, and I really want to share these things with you. Just want to say that when motherhood feels too much or too heavy, when you're overstimulated, when you're touched out, when you're snapping, and then you feel guilty for that afterwards, please hear this. You are not broken. And it's not that you can't handle it. It's just that your brain is doing its job in keeping you safe. Our brain is wired for survival, not for peace, unfortunately. So to easily understand this, your brain is broken up into 3 sections. You have your survival brain, your bodyguard, the one that reacts to protect you. You have your emotional brain, so the one that stores memories, your emotions, your past. It links the stress of today into the pain of your past. And then you have your rational brain, and I wish she was there 24/7. She's your calm voice of reason, the one that says, it's okay, I can handle this. But when those first 2 parts take over, your rational brain automatically switches offline. And that's why we yell and cry, or we shut down, and then we beat ourselves up afterwards. And it's so easy for this to happen when we're mothers, because we're dealing with these tiny humans with these big emotions, and it's our first time trying to navigate all of this, plus like our hormone shifts and work, and then you have another kid, and then you're trying to maintain your relationships, and all of these things kind of collide. And when we're not taking the time to care for ourselves, your body goes into fight, flight, or freeze, and that's why your rational brain can switch off as soon as a toddler tantrum happens. So I really wanted to touch on all of these parts of your brain so you can realize that there's actually nothing wrong with you. Your brain is just programmed to survive, and a lot of the times it doesn't really know the difference between getting chased by a bear and your toddler having a meltdown. One thing that I think is really important to touch on is your reactions. However you react to any certain situation, not just in motherhood, you're most likely reacting to an old wound that you haven't healed yet. So your brain links those memories and think it's happening again now. So the moment you start thinking about what is truly beneath this trigger, like why does my child doing this, or why does that bill coming in, or why does my partner saying something a certain way trigger me so much, it's usually deep within past stored memories. Maybe noise reminds you of conflict that you may have had when you were growing up. Maybe the mess around the house feels like chaos because you had no control in a past season of your life. When you bring awareness to the sources, when you give your brain a new story to tell. I have linked a free workbook in the description below, so if you really feel called to jot down all of these things and start figuring out why certain things trigger you or make you react in a way that you don't want to react, I really highly recommend that you download that workbook, or even just click on it and grab a notebook and a pen and start jotting some things down, because once we bring it to the forefront of our mind, we can really start seeing things for what they are and just reminding ourselves that our brain is not broken. You are not broken. It's just wired for safety, and this process is a journey. It's something that you've got to do, you know, often throughout your life. When seasons get heavy, go back through your toolkit and fine-tune the things that work for you. So please remember, your brain is not broken. There's nothing wrong with how you're reacting to certain situations in motherhood, and life is crazy. There's always going to be something that goes wrong. So starting today, figuring out the tools that you need and understanding that past situations may be coming up for you now in motherhood and making you react a certain way, big or small, it's okay. Please be gentle with yourself and be compassionate with yourself when you're going through this workbook, and please reach out if you have any questions while you're going through it as well. Just briefly, my story when everything that could have gone wrong did. There was a good few years where I felt like the universe truly forgot about me. I had a season of life where I left my firstborn's father due to quite a unhealthy home relationship, and I rebuilt myself and started going to therapy. I went on medication for a little bit. I built my business. I was 31. I felt like I had rebuilt, like I had honestly brick by brick rebuilt myself. And then I met the love of my life, Jared, and I'm like, wow, I'm on top of the world. And then we fell pregnant with my second, his first, Hamilton, and I had no idea what was in store for me. I had a HG pregnancy, severe preeclampsia, and the most traumatic birth, and a baby in NICU, and it felt like 18 months of hell. Every doctor appointment, every bill that came in, every time that I couldn't play with Freya, my firstborn, because I was too sick, it just felt like the universe had forgotten about me. During that pregnancy and during the time in NICU and that postpartum experience, my business was failing because I didn't have anything left in me to keep it going. And because it was my first business, I had a lot of my self-worth and my ego wrapped up into this, because after I left my firstborn's father, I had nothing. I felt worthless. So I had built so much worth for myself, like self-worth in my business, and then when all of that happened and it started crumbling down, I was like, where are you, universe? Why don't you love me? I just need help. So I had to make the hard choice of closing down my business. I had to let go of my ego, essentially, and I had to go back through my toolkit of years of therapy, of self-care, of self-love, of positive self-talk, of journaling, of all of the things that I did previously to rebuild, and I had to go back through all of that and do it all again. Which is why I'm so passionate about this topic, because I know it's possible, because I've not only done it once, I've done it twice. And when I think back on my life, there's been so many seasons where I've had to rebuild. Sometimes it feels a little bit unfair. So if you feel like that, please know you're not alone. I just wanted to mention that story because I just want you to know that you're not alone in feeling like everything's going wrong and that the universe isn't looking out for you anymore. Now, during this time of having to close my business and being in NICU and having a HG pregnancy and then having 2 kids and a relatively new relationship, I saw this video on Instagram and I cannot for the life of me remember who did it, and I've been searching for weeks and weeks and weeks to try and find her because she deserves so much recognition. But I saw this reels and it was the battery check is essentially at the end of each day. So you and your partner have come home from work, or he's come home from work, she's come home from work, you've been home with the kids, whatever it is, before that witching hour period, before the snack demands, dinner, bath time, bedtime, and the kids are just like wired. Jared and I started doing a battery check after seeing this reels, and essentially it's just a quick, I'm on 10%, I'm on 100%, I'm on 50, I'm on 52, I'm on 70, I'm on 30. Whoever has the more to give will take more on the mental load. If we're 50-50, we both divide and conquer. Even if we're 60-40, we both divide and conquer. And if we're both running on 0, we both divide and conquer. But if there is one of us who honestly has nothing left to give from the day that they've just had, the other one steps in, no questions asked, no judgment. The other times that we started doing this was on the weekends. So if my partner had had a really tough week at work, maybe he's done a lot of overtime, he's worked 50 to 60 hours, he's exhausted, I will take the kids so he can just spend an hour or 2 playing PlayStation or having a nap or just relaxing and binge watching TV or whatever he needs to do to recharge so he can show up as the best version of himself. And then he does that for me too. So after all of this stuff that happened with me and him and my life, I got diagnosed with lupus, like another why me moment. And I have a lot of flare-ups, which I'm having at the moment, where every single muscle in my body aches, and same with every single joint. And I feel like an 80-year-old woman, but I had to really say to him when I was feeling exhausted, I need a nap. Like, I need a nap, and he'll just be like, that's so fine, and he'll take the kid to the park, I'll have a nap, comes home, I'm recharged, it's all good. Now, if you do not have a partner that you can do this battery check with, I want you to know that the next episode is going to be for you, because you deserve that support too. I know firsthand what it feels like to be a single mum and not have anyone to lean on. I was going to put that in this episode, but I really truly think it deserves its own episode. So if you don't have somebody to lean on for a battery check, I will be sharing all of the tips, tricks, tools, self-care, all of the things in the next episode, because I know that season can feel so lonely, and I'm here for you. I see you, I'm here. Always feel free to reach out. But next episode will be for solo parenting. So we understand our brain. We've got the battery check in the workbook. It's going to share how to bring that up with your partner. Now let's talk about home systems that are designed for calm. Now this is a journey I am still working on. I am not naturally an organized woman. I just am not. Your environment is a small but such an impactful part of your life and your healing journey. And I really truly realized one day that it wasn't my to-do list that was overwhelming me and overstimulating me. It was the constant reminders of the things that I said I was going to do that I didn't. One day I sat down and I wrote a list of all the things around my house, all the random cupboards that I wanted to reorganize, the clothes I wanted to donate, the blinds I wanted to clean, literally everything in my home that I'd look at that would just send me off the edge. And I made a vow to myself that once a week I would choose something off that list and just complete it. Some of them Jared does with me, or Jared does it on his own. We are in the middle of renovating a home as well, so it is chaos. Like, there's part of the house that I just don't even want to look at, but it's my home, so I need to make the most of the environment that I have so that up here isn't screaming at me, so that I can be a calmer, more grounded mother and partner and show up the way I want to. So if there is a random drawer in your kitchen that has no organization, jump on Amazon or go to Kmart and grab some plastic tubs and organize the shit out of it and throw out anything that you do not need. One thing that I've really noticed throughout this process is I have so much stuff I do not need, and I'm definitely a hoarder I hate saying that out loud, but I grew up with virtually nothing. So throughout my whole adult life, I have been holding on to things that I really don't need. So I have started donating them, and it is so freeing. Another thing that I stumbled across on Instagram from a few mums, and I did tag them in a reels that I shared, is the nighttime reset and seeing your home as like your 9 to 5. So it's like your clock out shift. I think that's kind of what they call it, a clock out shift. So at the end of the night, just resetting your entire house, even if you're tired. I kick myself every morning that I don't do this. I'm getting better at it. It's like forming a habit. And for some people, this just comes so naturally. And it's like, well, duh, Sam, I wouldn't go to sleep with dirty dishes in the sink. Like, that's gross. But also some of us we're not wired like that. So if you can do a house reset before you go to bed at night, pack the kids' school bags, pack the kids' lunch boxes, lay out their clothes for the next day, lay out your clothes for the next day. And then when you wake up in the morning, the house is spotless, the lunches are made, breakfast is ready to go nice and easy. You can get ready effortlessly without stressing about what you're going to wear. And it's just about figuring out the things in your home and the systems that you can create just to make your world feel easier. And that's why I wanted to start with that random to-do list throughout your house, because there may be systems that you can't make seamless until you organize certain parts of your home. And the reason why this part is so important for when it feels like everything's falling apart is because your mindset and how you handle situations directly relates to how calm your environment is. So if your home feels calm, it doesn't have to be Instagram aesthetic. If your home feels calm, you've got systems that make your morning routine, getting the kids out the door, feel less hurried and less stressful. You'll be able to respond instead of react because your environment's calm. You've had your battery checks with your partner. You're leaning on people if you need it. And all of those things combined start telling your brain, like, I'm not getting chased by a bear. Everything around me is calm. And this situation that's just happened is just life. And you start moving out of that negative mindset, well, why is the universe against me? And you start moving into, this is just another thing that I've got to deal with, and it's so fine. And lastly, I want to talk about the tools that I always go back to whenever it feels like everything's going wrong. Even if there's a minor inconvenience, I'll just go back to this toolkit, and I have this in the workbook too. Now, this has been my holy grail, and I cannot believe I have stuck with this for so many years, but it is your nervous system regulation. So if you've ever heard someone tell you, just breathe, and you want to kick them in the face. Like, what do you mean just breathe? My life's falling apart. Please don't get mad at me when I tell you it's breathing. So my therapist taught me this when I was diagnosed with complex PTSD. Game changer. The minute you open your eyes in the morning, before you check your phone, before you have a drink of water, before anything. Obviously, if your kids wake up first, tend to them and then do this after. But if you can, the minute that you wake up, put a hand on your heart and a hand on your belly and breathe in through your nose for a count of 4 and feel your stomach expanding with air, like visualize it. Hold it for 4. Breathe out through your mouth for a count of 4, hold it for 4, and do that 3 times. This is scientifically proven to regulate your nervous system, okay? So when we do this first thing in the morning, it really starts to set up your day for success. When I started going to therapy, she asked me what tools I had to like regulate my nervous system, and I told her, I saw somewhere that, if you've had a really stressful day, when you have a shower at the end of the night, you envision the water washing away your stress. And she just looked at me and she's like, Sam, your day shouldn't be so stressful that you need to envision washing the day away. And that stuck with me. And then that's when she taught me these tools. I also have an app on my phone called Notify. I have spoken about this before, and you can set up reminders. It can be morning, midday, night. It can be every hour, whatever works for you. Your phone will just make a little soft little sound and you'll know, okay, I need to check in with myself. So I've been using that tool for years, literally. Freya's almost 5. So yeah, about 5 years I've been using those tools and the breathing exercise first thing in the morning. And if you need to throughout the day, do it. My little Freya and Hamilton has started now too. When they're frustrated, they go they're not doing it right, but they watch me do that and they do it too when they're frustrated and they need to bring themselves down. So it's a really powerful tool. Next is nourishing your mindset. Now, these two things might seem really simple, but they are so powerful. What you consume will directly impact how you see the world, like that whole rose-colored glasses situation. When I was going to work full-time and really struggling with lupus and having 2 kids in daycare 50 hours a week and trying to do it all, I started leaning heavily into podcasts, and it transformed everything for me bit by bit. Every episode, every type of information that I could consume about my mindset and how I show up every day, rather than just mindlessly driving to work with random music on, it truly transformed everything for me. So if there is any stage where you are listening to music or there's no noise at all, that you can be feeding your mind with information, it will make the world of difference. And even little things like when we cook dinner, we put music on and we're cooking dinner together and the kids just like dancing around and playing and everyone's in a good mood. It's so hard to be in a bad mood when there's good music playing. Like if you realize that you're popping on a soft playlist but it's actually really sad music, you may not realize that that is directly impacting how you feel. So if you're in a shit mood, have a cry and then pop on some damn feel good music and dance it out. You may feel stupid, dance it out, sing it out. Put on those positive podcasts, read those affirmation books. Anything that you can consume that feeds your mind and nourishes it is going to help massively when things go wrong. You're going to feel more capable to overcome them. And quickly, I don't actually have this in my notes, but I want to mention it. The people you follow on social media. I understand some of your favorite creators may be having a bad day and they want to let you know what's going on. And I know that I do that too, but if there is some accounts that you follow that really, truly negatively impact the way that you feel after you consume their content, please unfollow them or mute their account, because if you're spending a lot of time scrolling and you're just absorbing a lot of negative content that doesn't make you feel good, of course you're going to then be in a bad mood and you're going to react in ways that you don't want to react in. There's 2 more things, and I know this podcast has been going on for a little longer than I thought my podcast episodes were going on for, but stay with me, I promise you they're worth it. Micro self-care or self-care stacking. So this could be anything that you enjoy doing. Morning coffee, reading a book, putting on a clay mask or a face mask, going to bed early, shaving your legs, washing your hair, doing a body scrub, popping a fake tan on, fake lashes, doing your makeup in the morning, putting on a nice outfit, going for a walk, going to the gym, doing Pilates. Anything that feels good for you, that every time you do it, you know it feels good. Do as many of those things as you possibly can. And also, if you can, self-care stack. So for example, reading a book while drinking your coffee in the morning, if that's something that's going to give you so much more energy for the day because you've started the day with something for you before your kids have woken up, do that. My everything shower once a week, when I'm washing my hair, I'm shaving everything, I put a clay face mask on while I'm in the shower and just keep my face out and then wash it off at the end. So I squeeze in as many self-care things for myself as I can in my limited time. Even sometimes do my yoga workouts with a face mask on if I haven't done it in the shower. Journaling could be a form of self-care as well. If you need to get it all out but you don't want to talk about it, just write it down, tear out the piece of paper and I don't know, put it in the bin, burn it if you don't want to ever read it again. Any time that you can just have a moment to yourself and really be present in that moment, please take it, because as mothers we put everything above ourselves, but when we start prioritizing ourselves too, that's when life feels easier and we can handle all of the things that come our way with a little bit more grace and compassion. And lastly, this ChatGPT prompt that Beck Stewart in her Power podcast, if you don't follow Beck Stewart, she's incredible, I'll link her below. I did her Future You challenge at the beginning of the year, I believe it was, and she talks about this ChatGPT prompt that I did, and essentially you just open ChatGPT. If you don't have it, it is a free app, and you pop in a list of everything in your life that you love, a list of everything in your life that you don't like, and then a list of everything you wish you had more time for, and it just like blurts out the most profound information. It felt like an aha moment. Okay, cool. So after ChatGPT spat that out for me, and I'll leave the prompt in your workbook as well, but once ChatGPT spat out that prompt for me, I then asked it to write me a dream day in my life of my future self, if all of those things that, you know, aligned. And when I tell you I cried when I read this, like I cried, and then I couldn't go back from that. I was like, I have to make this my reality. And it wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't living in a multi-million-dollar house or driving a fancy car or anything like that. It was simply waking up in the morning to no alarm, feeling calm and not rushed. I've had a good night's sleep. I make my morning coffee. I do some yoga or a workout. I read a book. The kids wake up. We're making breakfast. I'm not rushing out the door. Jared gets home from work and we have a good cuddle and a kiss and genuine conversation. We have time for date nights and the house is clean. And I feel confident and beautiful every single day, and the kids are happy and we're healthy, and I'm working on my dreams and goals in business. And then I asked it to map out a week in my life and timestamp everything down to brushing my teeth so that I can see visually I do have time for the things I want to do. There's so many hours in the day. Yes, everyone's day is different, but one thing that you will notice if you do this exercise is the amount of things in your life that you don't need and that you need to let go of to make space and time for the things that you want to do. And that's a tough pill to swallow sometimes. It's just a real awakening. If you can do anything from this podcast, please do that. Your deep belly breaths, actually no, do it all. Download this workbook. I'd love for you to message me and let me know what worked, what was a light bulb moment for you, and what you want to hear about next. If there's any part of this podcast you want me to delve in deeper. But my next one will be for the single mamas, and then we'll step into everything else. Quick recap before we end today. Your brain isn't broken. It's trying to protect you, not punish you. You can communicate your needs, whether that's through a battery check with your partner or reaching out to your support system, friends, family, anyone that can just help. It's okay to ask for help. You can calm the chaos one system at a time in your home and in your direct environment. You can regulate and nurture through your breath, through gratitude and self-compassion. And you are well and truly building resilience one step at a time. The fact that you clicked on this episode, I just know that you are ready for change. So if you are in that chapter where it feels like every single damn thing in your life that could go wrong is going wrong, I just want you to know this. You're not failing. You're not broken. You are becoming. There's still a version of you in there. One that dreams, that laughs, that creates. She's not gone. She's just waiting for you to come home to her. Take one deep breath. Tidy one drawer. Say one kind word to yourself. And when it feels like everything is falling apart, maybe, just maybe, everything's falling together. If this episode resonated with you, or you think one of these tools is going to be so powerful for you or another mum, please share it with them. Before you go inside today, take a deep breath. You are doing beautifully. I'll see you next week. Bye.